there. But now I need a footstool to put my feet on.
While she's getting ready, I'm Ron. Welcome to the radiologictechnologist.com YouTube channel. We also have a blog where there's over 100 articles that we've written that we get asked all the time, because my wife Lisa here is an Xray tech of 10-ish years, and I started probably about 4 years before she did, something like that. And so I noticed today we had a good question on our Facebook group. The Radiologic Technologist group is what it's called. And so I wanted to chime in and give you a couple perspectives, because obviously we both went to Xray school and both had our trials. So the question is, hi there, I'm going to be applying to rad tech school next spring, and I'm a bit worried. I did so well in high school with a 4.4 GPA. I got into college, started off strong, but then I got sick with a chronic illness and couldn't make it to class. So long story short, she had to drop a couple, withdraw from some classes, didn't do so great, but then got it under control, got back into college, and she's currently sitting at a 4.0. And her question is, should I even apply, or do I have no chance of getting into rad tech school because I basically failed out from another college? What do you think, Lisa?
Well, so we'll go back to when I was applying. I started applying. I went to a private school. I got my GPA and records from high school and was a bit astounded that I graduated. I looked at my grades and I was quite embarrassed, because they actually went to my husband's mom's house, to her fax at the time, and she saw those and I saw those. And really, I don't know how I graduated high school, to be completely honest. Not necessarily because I wasn't smart, which I think my husband tells me I kind of sell myself short in that area, but I'm not book smart, in my opinion. So anyway, going from that, I was a little saddened. So I had done some college, and we met at ASU, and needless to say, some things happened, and I pretty much did not pass most of my classes that last semester and didn't get very good grades. So I started going back to the community college to get some of the prerequisites that I needed to bump up my numbers so that I could get into class. So my schooling, they did what you call a Wonderlic. You take the Wonderlic test, and that scores you. Your age takes into consideration. You get points, maybe depending on if you're a little bit older or not. And then you also get points for some of the classes you've taken through some college courses. So it took me a couple of times before I got in. I didn't get in the first round. And then I went back and took a class and tried again, and I got in the second time. And I will say that, I think age and maturity kind of benefited me as I've gotten older. You know what you want, and you buckle down and you study more and get things done. So in my opinion, if you're ready for it and you're ready to buckle down and study, it looks like you are. You have a 4.0 GPA now. So definitely go for it. Why wouldn't you? If that's what you want, then you should definitely go for it, because especially when it's something you're looking forward to and it's you want, instead of the classes that you're required to take, I think you tend to do better, because it's your career and it's something you chose, as opposed to something you're forced to take to get your associates, your general study courses. So that's kind of my opinion.
And sometimes we end up in classes that we didn't really want to take. You just have to take them because they're a part of the curriculum, and they're so boring. And when it's stuff that applies to your future career and how you're going to make a living, you're a lot more vested in it. And I can see that some people are commenting, and that's great. We've got we've got a really great Facebook group going, the Radiologic Technologist group. If you're interested in the field, it's open to current techs and students and people interested in the field, so that they can ask questions. And I see somebody brought up the point system. The school that we both went to Pima Medical Institute in Mesa, Arizona, and they had a point system where you got points for your interview, and you got points for prior classes, and you got points if you were over a certain age. You got points if you didn't make it in the first time around and were reapplying. So that helps out a lot. And I noticed somebody said they might not even look at your transcript, but they probably will.
Yeah.
Colleges always ask. In fact, they usually ask for that before they'll even talk to you.
Especially if it's courses that are required to get into that class or to the program.
So, definitely apply if it's what you want to do. And maybe you checked it out sufficiently enough to know it's what you want to do. And by that, I mean, we always recommend that you shadow or somehow get a little bit of insight into what the field is, because you never want to jump into something without knowing a little bit about it. But my GPA, my GPA, so I got my bachelor's first because I was raised and told that if you get a bachelor's, the whole world will be right and you'll make as much money as you want. And with my bachelor in psychology, about all I could do was counsel drunks. So it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And at the end of my college career there, getting that bachelor's, I was below a 2.0. I was a 1.97. And so I had to take a couple of classes, was it astronomy? I don't know. I had to take a couple of classes just to get my GPA up high enough to graduate. But that didn't hold me back anywhere. After that, I got into Xray school, and then went on to ultrasound school, and then went on to get my master's, and I'm currently working on my doctorate. So, grades are something that are important in some aspects, but not that important in others. And in fact, I used to joke back in those days that C's get degrees. I've never had an employer say, well, what was your GPA?
Or even what was your score? What'd you get on your
ART,
your exam? So, and we could even take it a step further for us because, like he said, he went to ultrasound school, and his last semester of ultrasound school was my first semester of X-ray school, which was difficult. On top of, I had a baby mid-December and started my program that next January. And then let's say it again, that was baby number 5.
Oh yeah, I don't think we mentioned.
And then
we have 6 girls.
And then 8 months into my program, I got pregnant. And then 8 months later, so I had another baby. So we had barely like a 1.5-year-old and a newborn. On top of me having I was pregnant my first rotation. So we did, our first 8 months was purely school.
Didactic, yeah.
And then my second 8 months was my first rotation. And then my third 8 months was my second rotation. So my first rotation of schooling, I did pregnant. And then my second rotation, I had a newborn and 5 other children. So for people who also are worried about doing it with children, if it's something you really want and you're dedicated, it can be done. Because our first 8 months, we were both full-time school. He was working full-time, and we had a newborn amongst 4 other children. So
yeah, so and you see it a lot, people that say, well, especially even patients. I've had patients go, I was going to do what you do, but I had bills to pay and I had to work full time.
I had to take care of kids.
Yeah, well, so did we.
Yeah, we just look at each other and laugh sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go into detail with people if they ask, but other times I just kind of giggle and say, then you really must not want it that badly, because if you want it bad enough, you can do it. I mean, I look back on those days when he was in X-ray school full time. We had 3 children. He was in full-time X-ray school, and I don't even know how we were surviving on a phlebotomist's salary, but we did. We made it work. We were paying for school. We were paying for children, a family, a house, because until I did X-ray school, I really didn't work too much. I mean, I had some little part-time jobs here and there at maybe a daycare at a gym so that we could get a free gym membership. And my kids went with me. Or yeah. I did work Starbucks and actually loved that job, but worked Starbucks for a little while, but no full-time, no major income coming in besides what he was doing on top of going to school full-time. So if this is something you want, I have no doubt that you can achieve it. I have no doubt that you can do it. You just have to decide that you're going to make it work and that you're going to buckle down. I mean, I'm not going to lie. My kids still talk about those years when I was in school and they had to do their own hair for school because mom was going to school.
Hey, I helped.
Yeah.
I learned how to do ponytails
true.
And straight braid, regular braid. I couldn't French braid, but I could regular braid.
But it's something I'll never regret. I mean, it saddens me a little bit that my kids took care of themselves more than maybe my little girls have, because we have our set of three, and our set of three, we call them big girls and little girls. But if all they remember about that time is that they had to do their own hair for school, I think that we're doing pretty good, you know?
Yeah. So to round it off, this person is worried about low grades they had early on. And I had a 1.97. She had to apply a couple times to get in. If you want it bad enough, go get it. And I have articles on my blog about, one of them is 11 different ways to pay for school. Another one is about, can I work full time while going to school? Because I did that as well.
And make sure you look into the program. Look into that program, see where points come from, because like he mentioned, you get points for doing things. And one of the things that I was able to get points with was, so this is kind of like a family trade. His mom's husband also does this. So I was able to go to work with him and shadow before I did it, to make sure not only that it was something that I thought I would enjoy, but also to get extra points. I got extra points for going and shadowing for so many hours. So I think I did 2 or 3 days of shadowing full time, and I got bonus points for that, which made my points higher and allowed me to get that interview. So our school was, you know, you had to have a certain amount of points and be in the top, you know, I don't even remember what the top was, but my class took 30, which is a big class from talking to other people. Most classes only take 12. But those extra points by just shadowing helped me to get into that interview. And once I got into that interview, it was pretty much, you know.
And I have an article about how to get into the program too. A lot of tips and tricks that we've learned, because like she said, we went through Xray. My stepdad went through Xray. My mom taught at the Xray school outside of the Xray program. I've known a lot of, you know, over the past 18 years of being in the field, I've known a lot of people to go through. So I put a lot of tips and tricks in there. Lily's texting asking where you're at. So
I gotta go pick up some kids from school on my day off.
Thanks for doing the video with me. So I hope that helped you out. I'll post it to the YouTube channel and send you a link to it on the Facebook group. If anybody on the group or in YouTube land, if you have questions about radiology, radiography, even if it's CT, X-ray, MRI, I'm a sonographer as well. I've been in management for about 10 years. So her and I, we have a lot of great different perspectives. She's an outpatient X-ray tech now, where I was a hospital graveyard shift tech. I did multimodality. She does ortho stuff where she can do 40 to 50 exams per day on a busy day. So a lot of collective experience. Happy to share it with you guys. If this has been helpful, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Go check out our forum, the Radiologic Technologist group on Facebook. I'll put a link to it in the description if you're interested there. And have a great week. See you later.